I like that idea. I'd like to be a prophet. I'd like to contribute my little piece to future peace on earth. I'm into building bridges between warring factions, whether it's my parents or me and some woman, and or between the pro-abortion and anti-abortion. And I also have been practicing the art of rescuing babies from bathwater. All religions, for example, the essence is wonderful, but it's the essence is surrounded by a foggy mess. Now, the essence of Islam, according to me, is that there's a statement in the Quran, and most Muslims, I think, they misinterpret this. The statement is there is no compulsion in religion. And I love this. I've modified it slightly. There's no compulsion in faith. Whatever your faith is, there is no compulsion. If you break the rules of your faith, you do not deserve 50 lashes. You do not deserve even mild punishment. You certainly don't deserve horrible punishment, because in a true religion, there is no compulsion in any faith. So Muslims, they have the 5 pillars of something or other, and the 6 articles. They have these rules. I mean, the 5 pillars are praying 5 times a day and visiting Mecca once in a lifetime, etc., etc. But actually, if you don't do these things, you are not wicked and horrible. If you don't do them because you don't get around to them, or if you don't do them because, well, you have other priorities, it's okay to have other priorities. It's okay not to. You don't have to follow any rule at all, rigidly. And I think I mentioned my buzzwords. If I haven't, my buzzwords are, well, at least 5 of them. There's probably a 6th one somewhere. Fair, reasonable, flexible, naturalistic, and holistic. And I probably have another guiding principle that, I'm into things like integrity. Well, how about coherence? Perhaps my number 6. Fair, reasonable, flexible, naturalistic, holistic, and coherent. Coherent means everything hangs together. Right, I've hit another pause. It says I've got some viewers, actually. I've got somebody's watching, it looks like a Russian script. So, and Rajesh, my editor, Rajesh, you're going to edit. This is a long video that you're going to edit into small sections. And, there's a button here that says bring them on camera. Shall I do that? I'm a bit of an experimentalist. I've never done this before. I'm going to hit the button and see what happens. Right. Oh, it said couldn't add guest. Fair enough. Can't do. Carry on. Right. So I think I've said before, I say evolution, everything evolving in parallel is God, and God is everything evolving in parallel. And Albert Einstein said almost that the greatest of all things is imagination, and rationality should serve imagination. When rationality is top dog, it doesn't work. I describe myself, for a long time, I've described myself of a servant of God and a slave to reason, and I think there's 2 sides of the same coin. Be a servant of God, become an ever better servant of God, fine. Become an ever better slave to reason, fine. It's 2 sides of the same coin. Now, moving on a bit, Professor Jordan Peterson talks about complexity. Actually, he's right. Coming up with simplifications and insisting that your simplification is the answer is wrong. I think I've said already. I'm sorry to pick on women. I mean, men are guilty of seeing money. Money is the answer. The answer to having security is loads of money, and it doesn't matter if you get that money at the expense of others. Fuck others. If I feather my own nest, me and my family are okay. Fuck it if other people are not okay. This is toxic masculinity. This is a male oversimplification. A female oversimplification is that men are the problem. Oh, men are the problem? Oh, aggression is the problem. What's the source of aggression? Men. Why are men aggressive? Testosterone. What's the answer? Get rid of testosterone. Well, there's a woman called Cordelia Fine. I'd love Cordelia Fine to have an argument with Jordan Peterson. Cordelia Fine's written 5 books, all with strange titles. One of them is called Testosterone Rex. Not Tyrannosaurus Rex, but Testosterone Rex. I've tried to read these books. I can't. Jordan Peterson can read anything, so I want Jordan Peterson to read his books and have a chat with Cordelia Fine. Another of her books is called Delusions of Gender. Not Delusions of Grandeur, Delusions of Gender. Oh, bloody hell. But, everyone has a contribution. Feminism is, some people think that feminism is bloody stupid. Well, it's certainly heading in a bad, what looks like a bad direction. But, there's no smoke without fire. There's an upside to everything. But anyway, complexity. Even if you know that things are complex, you're wrong. It's even more like quantum mechanics. Somebody once said about quantum mechanics: if you think you understand it, you don't. Why? Because quantum mechanics is sort of like, it's a mathematical theory. The mathematics tell you what's going to happen next. The human mind is incapable of saying what's going to happen next, but the mathematics can. And complexity is like that. If you think you understand how complicated things are, you're wrong. It's a damn sight more complicated. And, And I've mentioned about smashing things. If you can't smash it to pieces with a baseball bat, it doesn't exist. If you can't smash it to pieces with a particle accelerator, it doesn't exist. I've mentioned empiricism, and there's something called atheists. Atheists don't seem to understand experiential evidence. Experiential evidence is pragmatism, or suck it and see. So in other words, try prayer. Give prayer a chance. Try praying, for a few weeks, a few months, and if after 6 months you think, well, waste of time, I'd rather do meditation, or I'd rather do yoga, or I'd rather take up some sports. If you want to drop prayer completely, fine, after you've given it a chance. I ran into a bunch of atheists once. The Mormons teach you how to pray. You need to pray with a lowly and contrite heart. Contrite, humble. I'll mention this. I love this quotation by Iris Murdoch. You can only learn to love by loving. Love is a muscle that needs you. If you practice loving, you get better at it. You can only learn to love by loving. Okay? Iris Murdoch. You can only learn to love by loving. And, gosh, I've lost myself. Oh, yes. I say that with true love, the love of Jesus, the Greek word for the love of Jesus is agape. Agape. Eros is lust, and the Bible frowns on lust, but there's a place for lust, But I don't recommend. Women can be sluttish, women can be trollops, women can trollops, men can be trollops too. Going down the gym and developing a 6-pack and big muscles to attract women is a bit sluttish as far as I'm concerned. Anything overdone. Fanaticism. I set up a Facebook page on Facebook. I don't know if it still exists. How to stop religious and non-religious fanatics from fucking up the world. Anything overdone is not a good idea. In fact, our greatest weaknesses are strengths overdone. So, there are 2 prerequisites to proper life. Anyone know what they are? I always ask this, nobody does. The foundation of everything is humility. If you don't, Landmark Education says start from nothing with the mind of a beginner. I say start from nowhere. Always. I think I'm doing this. Right now, I am nowhere. I am nowhere, coming from nowhere, with the mind of a beginner, but I'm tapping in. I have 65 years worth of life experience stored in my brain. You know, Scientology, a lot of people say the brain records everything. There is not 1 millisecond that isn't stored in here somewhere. Seems weird, doesn't it? But there's something called, Jung talked about the collective unconscious. There is also something called the collective superconscious. Oh my God, this is new cutting edge spirituality. No, the foundation of everything, the best starting place. Lamarck says coming from nowhere with the mind of a beginner. I say coming from nothing. I say coming from nowhere. And this is the humility. There's nothing more important than humility. When two people engage from a place of humility, you do not get horrible arguments. Another word connected to humility is deference. Good relationships is where there's deference in both directions. Deference in one direction is actually quite helpful, but deference in both directions is wonderful. There's a bloke I knew once, and we were always talking over each other. He witnessed me talking to someone on the internet, and me and this bloke never talked over each other, and he was gobsmacked. He said, Martin, why do you and I talk over each other, but with this other bloke, you and him don't talk over each other at all? Well, I've written a book about this. It's online. I've got they're not really one. I've got 2 Kindle books. Martin Art Camden on Amazon worldwide. And in the first book, I talk, people clash when they have different communication rules and also different interruption rules. The things that really fuck up communication are when there are different communication rules and there's an unwillingness to negotiate, a common set of rules. When there's different interruption rules and an unwillingness to negotiate common interruption, that is when communication goes pear-shaped again and again and again and spirals out of control. But that's all a bit technical. There are other ways of getting peace and harmony in relationships. So moving on. Oh yes, it's something to do with pragmatism. Everyone must have heard this. Under what circumstances does the ends justify the means?